Hello folks, today I've got this really cool 1942 Singalo 18. And I've started working on this thing and I was like, you know what, I should document this repair because it's just a really cool guitar. This is actually my personal guitar. I bought it not too long ago in hopes of restoring it. So I'll take you guys along the journey with me. So you can see I have already removed the bridge. I have pulled the 15th fret and I drilled some holes there to access the dovetail cavity. So this needs a neck reset, needs a new bridge. I can actually show you the bridge that was on it. Here's the bridge that was on the guitar. I'm not sure if it's an original. It's definitely Brazilian rosewood, but I don't know if it's original or not. I don't think it is, but as you can see, it is really, really thin. It's about half the thickness of a regular bridge, and there was basically no saddle height, and the action was pretty high. So that's when you know a guitar needs a neck reset. And also, one of the pearl dots is missing. I'll try to replace that. And the whole headstock veneer actually just came loose. I've just kind of taped in place. And you can tell the tuner holes are massive. Somebody installed the Grover Rotomatics on this, and they actually put them on upside down, which is actually good because the hole will be covered when I put some more period correct tuners on this. But it was kind of weird. You had to turn the tuners the opposite way because they were upside down. You can tell it's been played quite a bit. But yeah, so the first thing we're gonna do is take the neck off of this thing and do a neck reset. And one thing I'll mention before I do the reset, I put my alignment jig on here just to see. And when I put that on there, you can see how off-centered that is. It's kind of off more toward the bass side. So whoever did this neck reset last time didn't quite get it squared up. So yeah, that means we'll have to sand off a little bit more on this side of the heel to make it tip back center. So yeah, you never know what you're gonna get with a vintage guitar doing repairs. So, but that's part of the fun, I guess. And also I forgot to mention the fingerboard extension. I did loosen that. I just took a little palette knife and heated it up and stuck it down under there so the fretboard is loose over the body. So now we just gotta get the neck out. All right, so I got my neck removal jig on there, and I've got my hot wire foam factory foam cutters in there, and I'm just gonna let that heat up for a little while, and then we'll just tighten this screw down here and we'll push the neck right out. So hopefully everything comes out nice and cleanly. I don't know what the last guy used to glue this neck back on, but I guess we're about to find out. So the neck is starting to come loose. Just been tightening this little thing down, and you can see it's pretty much out of there. So let's see if we can shimmy it all the way out. Let's see what we got to work with here. There we go. The neck is out. Kind of got a weird smell to it, but pretty clean, honestly. Doesn't look half bad. Kind of funny, I can still see like the serial number there on the dovetail. There's no shim at all that I can tell, which is kind of surprising. But yeah, so I'm pretty dang happy with this. I thought it would be a lot worse. We'll get all this glue cleaned out, and then we can actually start addressing the neck set. Wow, look at that. I'm assuming that's hide glue. It's got a real funky smell to it. But yeah, I don't know how to describe that smell. It is very strange. But yeah, I'll just keep on cleaning all this up and bring you back. So I figured we'd shift gears a little bit. I thought the headstock might be easier to work on when the neck is off of the body. So as I mentioned before, the whole headstock veneer is just loose. I got it taped on there. And the tuner holes are really big because they put those Grover Rotomatics on there. But I went ahead and I bought these. They're called Golden Age tuners, I believe. I got them from Stu Mac. And this is a very similar tuner compared to what would originally be on this guitar. It even fits the screw holes perfectly, so yeah, I like that, I guess. But anyway, so I need to put those on there, but it won't work because, as you can see, the hole is just way too big. And I've thought about this long and hard, how I'm gonna do this. And what I'm gonna do is I've got a mahogany dowel, which is the same size as these holes. And I'm gonna plug up the holes and then re-drill it so that it fits the new tuners. You know, when it comes up to the rosewood veneer, you might be thinking, well, that mahogany is not gonna match it very well. But the bushings that come with it, as you can see, will cover up pretty much the entire hole. What I might have to do is just maybe put a little bit of stain on the mahogany, and then when I put the bushing on, it'll be pretty much invisible. That's what I'm hoping, at least. So yeah, first thing we're gonna do is glue this headstock veneer on. So I'll show you how I do that. All right, so the headstock veneer is off. That's what one looks like. You don't really get to see that very often. Came off super clean. I don't know what caused it to come off in the past, but it's all right. So yeah, I'm gonna take a little sanding block here. I'm just gonna clean up this surface a little bit. Just to give a nice clean gluing surface. So I got the surface cleaned up. I got all the glue off of there and it's nice and smooth. On the headstock as well. I thought this was pretty cool on the headstock. You can see the saw marks on the back, which is really cool. That happens with pre-war Martins. You can kind of, on some Brazilian, you can see the saw marks. I just thought that was kind of cool. So anyway, yeah, it's time to glue this thing back on. I'll kind of tape it, or put the glue down and then put a couple pieces of tape just to hold it there. And then I got all these little spring clamps that I'll use to glue it. And I'm just gonna use Titebond. I know there's gonna be a few people like, oh, you gotta use hide glue, man. But, you know, I don't think you have to. Titebond will work just as good in my opinion, but if you don't agree, then, well, you can watch somebody else. So, yeah, here we go. We'll glue this sucker on. Right, so the headstock veneer is glued back on, as you can see. I got it on there about as clean as I could hope to get it, so I'm pretty happy with that. So now I've got these little mahogany dowels. I got 6 of them. What I'm gonna do is plug all these holes with mahogany. So I'll take this dowel and just put a little bit of glue on the edges of it, and I'm just gonna kind of put each one down in there and, you know, get it flush the headstock, and then I'll probably have to trim a little bit off the back here, but that's no problem at all. And then we'll be ready to actually drill the new holes, the correct size holes for the tuners we're going to use. So I got all my plugs put in. They're all really nice and flush. As you can see there, looks pretty good. So I've gone ahead and kind of marked the center of each hole, and I'm going to take this to my drill press and I'm going to drill a 1/4 inch hole into every one. And then for the bushing, I'll have to drill a little bit bigger hole just on the top part. So yeah, not a whole lot to it. I'll bring you back then, and then we can actually probably install these tuners. So we got the holes drilled. You see, they look pretty nice. About the only thing now that's left to do is install the tuners. The tuners are on, and I think that turned out about as good as I could have possibly ever asked for. That looks really, really nice. Very vintage, period correct. And these tuners are also relicked to kind of make them look older. And yeah, I mean, it's as if those big holes were never even there. I'm really, really, really happy with that. Actually looks like a Martin again, a little bit. Yeah, so now we got all that addressed. So I guess the next thing we'll do is start doing a neck set. So here we go. All right, folks, so it is time for a neck reset. Got the tuners on there looking really good. So it's time to do the neck reset. If you don't know what that means or what that is, basically we're gonna change the angle of the neck. So if we look at it like it is, like if I put a straight edge over on the fretboard over the body, where it meets the bridge, that gap is only about 3/16 of an inch right now. And I want that to be closer to 3/8. So basically what we have to do is kick the neck back so where there's more angle. And the way to do that is I've got a little piece of sandpaper. This is like 120 grit sandpaper. And I'll take the neck off like this. If I can turn you around here. And I'm going to take my sandpaper and I'm going to drag it through, kind of like that. And what that's going to do is take more material off the underside of the heel. Okay? And then that's going to allow that neck to kick back. So I'm going to shoot for about that 3/8 gap or so. And when I get it there, we'll probably have to glue some shims onto the dovetail, because when you change the angle, the dovetail becomes loose. So you have to put shims on there to tighten it up, which is why I don't like dovetail necks. But then after that, we can glue the neck on, and then the final thing is just making a new bridge. And then once we do all that, it's pretty much ready to start stringing it up. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so here's kind of the process. I'm gonna take my sandpaper, put it under the heel like that. Okay, and I'm literally just gonna drag this through. Okay, just like that. And then I'll repeat that on the other side, and I'll keep flipping back and forth until the angle's right. So this is going to take me probably quite a few passes on each side to get it where I want. That's kind of the process of what I'm doing. Okay, so after quite a bit of sanding on the heel, I got the neck angle where I want it. You can probably see kind of how it's been sanded on the cheeks there. So the angle's good, and it's actually centered to the body now, which is nice. So now I've got a couple little mahogany shims that are really thin, and I'm gonna glue these to the dovetail like that, because when I change the neck angle, the dovetail is loose now, so we got to tighten it back up. So I'm going to glue these shims on there, and then we'll sand them to fit. Okay, so I got the shims glued on there. Now the dovetail doesn't quite fit in the body anymore. It doesn't go in all the way. So I've got this little sanding stick I made, just like 80 grit sandpaper on there. And I'm basically just gonna kind of sand this shim until it gets thin enough to where it will fit properly in the dovetail joint. When it does, then we can actually glue this neck on. All right, so after quite a bit of sanding and fitting and sanding and fitting, this is what the dovetail looks like. You can see those shims are pretty much reduced down to nothing. Where the dovetail gets loose, it's more at the bottom, so you see more shim, at the bottom. The top's really, all the shim pretty much got sanded off. But anyway, it's a really good fit now. So yeah, we are ready to glue this thing to the body. Okay, so before we glue the neck onto the body, remember I said this little fretboard dot was missing. So I have a dot here that I think's a pretty good match. As you can see, I think that'll look pretty good when I get it on there. So I'm just gonna take my Dremel, and I've got the bit set to the right depth. I'm just gonna route this out a little bit. There's some gunk down in there, so I'm gonna route it out and then glue that little dot in there, and this neck will be pretty much done. All right, so I got that dot put in there, and I think it turned out pretty good. So yeah, I think we're ready to glue this neck back on. And after I glue it, I'll hammer in the 15th fret. I'm not worried about that right now, but yeah, we're moving right along. Okay, so the neck is glued on now. I'm pretty happy with it. The neck joint looks really good, and the neck angle's right, and yeah, man, this thing's starting to look pretty good. But before we address the whole bridge situation, I'm gonna go ahead and clean it up, maybe do a little bit of fret dressing and polishing, and then probably put a coat of oil on the fretboard, and then yeah, we'll turn our attention to the bridge after that. So here we go. Fretboard is pretty clean now. It was a little grimy, but it's looking pretty good. It didn't need a whole lot of fretwork either. I just lightly went over the frets. So yeah, fretboard should be good to go now. Okay, so before we start making a bridge for this thing, I need to do a little bit of patching on these holes. These Martins had unslotted bridge pins, so they had to slot the bridge. But I think throughout time, somebody went and slotted this even more. You can really see it on like the low E string and the A. they kind of slotted it too far, so that the ball end of the string isn't really hitting the bridge plate like it should, and it's kind of chewing through the top a little bit. It's hard to explain it, but what I think I'm going to do is make a little patch just for where the slot is. It only needs it on like the 3 bass strings pretty much, maybe on the G string too. So I'm going to make a little patch to put in there, and then after the bridge is glued on, we'll re-slot it to the correct size so that everything is seating right. So yeah, we'll do that first. Okay, so what I'm doing is I basically took my little slotting saw and I slotted each one kind of square. So I'm going to take a little plug and kind of like that, and I'm going to plug all those square slots, and then yeah, it should be good after that, I think. And I ended up just doing all the strings just because why not. So I'll show you what the final result looks like here in a minute. Okay, so I got my little patches put in there. Just helped to strengthen the bridge plate, and a lot of that will get slotted away anyway, but yeah, I think that turned out pretty nice. So now it's time to make the bridge. So I got this really nice looking piece of rosewood that I'll make the bridge out of. So I'll basically just kind of trace this footprint here and transfer that onto my blank. You know, get the spacing and everything right, and just make a bridge for it. When we do that, we'll be ready to glue on the bridge. Okay, so the bridge is made out of that piece of rosewood, and yeah, it's pretty much ready to glue on there. Got the saddle slot routed and everything, and it's all lining up really nicely. So it is kind of a lighter color, so after I get it glued on there, I'm going to put a coat of oil on there, and it should darken it and should match the fretboard pretty decently close. So yeah, go ahead and glue this puppy on there. I left the bridge clamped overnight, so it is now glued to the body. So all I have to do now is fit the bridge pins and make a saddle, and put a coat of oil on this to darken it up a little bit. So I got the bridge pins fitted, and I got the string slots sawed there, and I got a saddle blank here kind of marked out kind of where it's going to be, and it fits in that slot real nice. I'll have to just, you know, sand this down to the right shape and height and everything. And now I'm just going to put some oil on this. I'm just going to use lemon oil. I find that works pretty well. You can also use, you could use shellac, you could use Danish oil, anything you want, but I find lemon oil is pretty good. So you put a little bit on a rag here, and just sort of wipe it down. You can see how nice of a color it's starting to get. And I'll take a dry side of the cloth and just wipe up all the excess. I think that looks pretty nice. Matches the fretboard pretty well. Now basically all that's left is to cut the saddle to the right height and shape, put strings on this thing, and see what it sounds like. Here's the final result of the 1942 Single 018. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Plays really well. It's set up really nicely, really easy to play. I thought the bridge came out really good. I put extra light D'Addario XS strings on there, so it's nice and easy to play. This is a very lightly braced guitar, so you don't want to put like mediums on it. At least I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, I mean, this thing turned out really nice, and you know, it's got over 80 years worth of sound in it. It's just a really sweet, sweet little sound. Yeah, this is like just a really nice small body guitar. It's like a really good singer-songwriter guitar, like a finger picker's dream. I wish I could play fingerstyle guitar. But it sounds nice with a pick too. But yeah, there we go. Thanks for everybody who watched this and tuned in. Hopefully I can do some more of these type of restoration videos in the future. But yeah, until then, I'll see you guys next time.